Hello viewers and a very warm welcome. You're watching India Fights Back with your host Kriti Mishra. The Indian Council of Medical Research has approved COVID Self-Kit for the purpose of home testing. It has issued an advisory for COVID-19 home testing where an individual will be able to test himself or herself. In its advisory, ICMR said for the test, the user will have to download the MyLab app on their mobile phones. The mobile app is a comprehensive guide of the testing procedure and will provide a positive or negative test result to the patient. ICMR also said that only nasal swab will be required for this rapid antigen testing. All users have been advised to click a picture of the test strip after completing the test procedure with the same mobile phone which has been used for downloading the mobile app and user registration. However, all symptomatic individuals who test negative by rapid antigen testing should get themselves immediately tested by RT-PCR as well. So you can self-test COVID at home now by taking nasal swab. But how do you do it? Let's find out from our experts. Joining us on the program today, Dr. Gautam Wankhede, Director, Medical Affairs, MyLab, and Dr. Neeraj Nishchal, Associate Professor, Department of Medicine, AIIMS. Welcome to Matsaba Television, both of you.
Thank you.
And so as we all know that this kit has been manufactured by Pune-based MyLab Discovery Solutions Limited. So Dr. Wankhede, coming to you first. It has been now validated and approved by ICMR also. So take us through the journey of this important development.
Right, Kriti. So this is something that we have been trying to develop for quite some time now. So as you would be aware, MyLab was the first company in India to come out with the RT-PCR test for COVID way back in March 2020. Since then, in September last year, we got the license for the rapid antigen test as well. And I would say the journey would have begun sometime around there. We realized that it's important to make this test available to the masses. Unless everyone gets tested, anyone with symptom, anyone who's gotten contact with a known case, unless he or she gets tested, we are not really going to have a complete, fight back against this particular pandemic. So the journey started about 7-8 months back. But the real hard work came in, I think, the last 3 or 4 months, wherein we had to ensure that the sample collection device over here was not relying on a nasopharyngeal device, because nasopharyngeal is something which requires expertise. It requires medically trained professional to collect samples. So what we've done over here, we've come out with a nasal swab. Apart from the nasal swab, we've also paid a lot of attention to the test kit itself, how to have the right combination of antibodies so that even a lower viral load sample is detected. So these kind of things. Added to that, we have now come out with a software as well. It's an artificial intelligence powered app, which not only helps in collecting data, it also helps you in telling the result whether someone is positive or not. And along with that go a lot of other paraphernalias like the proper disposal of the test kit, proper training videos in multiple languages, the IFU or what we also call as the instructions for use have to be in very simple but easily understandable language. So these are the kind of things or efforts we have put in over the last 6, 8, 7 months.
All right, so that was the journey. And of course, now we have the result in front of us. But Dr. Nishchal, who can take this test at home? If you can elaborate that for our viewers.
So I will say this is one of the most important aspects, because we all know the delay in diagnosis will lead to spread of this particular infection very fast. So earlier the diagnosis, the better it will be for as far as containment and prevention of spread is concerned. So any person who is symptomatic or any person who has come in close contact with somebody who has been confirmed by lab that that particular person is COVID positive, all these patients person are eligible for getting this test done. And the biggest advantage now that we don't have to wait for a lab person to come to our house and do test and wait for the report, which may take as long as 1 to 2 days also. So this will alleviate that need of going to lab, and wait time will also be reduced to a great extent. So one can easily sit in the confines of home and who is symptomatic or is a high contact of a person who is COVID positive can take this test, and report will be available within, I will say, minutes. And one can decide whether the patient requires any isolation or any sort of treatment, or depending on the situation.
All right, depending on the treatment and of course, depending on the situation as well. But the most important part is, how do we use this home test kit? Dr. Wankhede, if you can walk us through the step-by-step guide.
Right. So obviously we have a very simple and educative video which is available on the ICMR website as well. So anyone can download or just have a look at it, live stream it. But if I just go step by step, so the test kit contains 5 simple components. One of them is the nasal swab. The second one is the actual test kit itself on which we drop the sample. The third one is our lysis buffer. The fourth one is a disposable pouch. And the fifth is our instruction for use leaflet. So when we go step by step, all you have to do is to wash your hands, sit in a calm, clean area with good light, open the pouch, take out the swab, use the swab in both the nostrils, put the swab inside the lysis buffer. Now, the beauty of this particular swab is it's a breakable swab. So once you put it inside the small buffer bottle, you just have to tilt it and the swab breaks. So the part of the swab which came in contact with the human body, if considering the person was positive, the individual is positive. So the part which came in contact with the nasal cavity remains inside the lysis buffer. Just throw the remaining part, put the cap on, and then put 2 drops on the test kit. And within 15 minutes, you will be able to read the results. At the end of the procedure, irrespective of what your result is, put everything in the pouch that is given. It's a C-level pouch, which goes into the biomedical waste or hazardous recyclable bin. Put it in the pouch and close it. It's simple. I know it sounds that it's because it was only carried out by people who were in the medical fraternity until now. But once you go through the procedure, once you understand, spend 5 or 10 minutes before the test, and you will find it's not that difficult at all.
It's not that difficult at all, but more important part is the precaution that we have to take. Dr. Nishchal, what are the precautions that should be taken while using these test kits at home by people?
Yeah, so it's very important that if a person is symptomatic, he should isolate himself first from rest of the family members. That's the most important step, I will say. And as described, of course, whatever test you are going to do, you have to ensure that whatever waste is generated, that has to be discarded properly. Otherwise, if you are careless in that thing, if you are not cleaning the surface where you have used this particular test, if you are not discarding this kit after use in that bio hazard pack, which is available with this particular kit in a proper way, you might be putting others at risk of getting infection from those waste disposal. And while using swab, please do not get extra, I will say, over means just for getting test, you are inserting it very deep inside your nose. That can actually hurt, and you may actually get trauma to your nostrils. So all these precautions needs to be taken, but the most important, always perform alone in when people are not around you. Those who are not infected, they should not get infected. And while discarding this waste, you have to be careful again that you do not infect others because of this.
Right. So we'll have a separate discussion on this part as well. What about the waste that it generates? But before that, a very important point, again, I'm reminded of is the privacy concern. Dr. Wankhede, there are questions that people have. Will the app reveal their identity to others? How do you allay the concerns on privacy?
So when we were developing this particular app, we paid a lot of attention to the firewalls, to the data privacy. In fact, we have signed a proper confidentiality agreement with the ICMR, so that whatever data is generated in the app, whenever people enter the demographic details or whatever the results, that straight away goes to the ICMR web server. It does not remain out for other people to be able to access it. So we have paid a lot of attention to it. And also when we were developing this app, we were getting regular feedback from ICMR. It is not completely something which is developed in isolation. So we had a first prototype, we went to ICMR, we did a few demonstrations with the IT team. They gave us very good suggestions, we incorporated them. So it was something which, it was a to and fro process. It was not a one-sided thing that we've developed. It was in tandem with the ICMR and the IT team. So we've taken care of every such data privacy or data breach the problems if they might ever come up. So we've taken care to ensure that such things do not happen.
Okay. All right. Dr. Nishchal, what do we do after the result of the test is out, whether positive or negative?
So it's again important because the whole idea is to diagnose a person as soon as possible. So if somebody is symptomatic and the test is positive, then we don't have to bother about repeat testing or something. The patient should be taken as a positive case, and all the home isolation guideline, or depending on the status of the patient, if patient is desaturating, he or she may require admission. So that guidance regarding home isolation, that can be followed for that person if that person is stable and fits into the criteria for home isolation. But if patient is unstable, then that patient should be admitted to hospital. But if a patient who is symptomatic turns out to be negative, then this negative report has to be reconfirmed by a RT-PCR test, because sometimes these tests may actually miss the symptomatic cases, which is rare, but it can happen. That's why it has to be reconfirmed whether this negative is true negative or it has come false negative. In that case, RT-PCR will be required for that patient. Until RT-PCR report is available, whether negative or positive, that patient should be in isolation, separate from others, so that he or she cannot spread this infection to others. And if somebody is, of course, asymptomatic are not advised at the moment, but if somebody is in close contact with the patient, a known patient, and he or she has taken a test, and if it turns out to get negative, then again, if depending on the clinical situation, the RT-PCR test may be required for that particular person.
Okay. But there are questions on the efficacy results of this. Dr. Wankhede, how do you again allay those concerns about efficacy? What are the trends that you analyzed?
So obviously the test was developed in-house, and we were doing continuous evaluations. So we're using thousands and thousands of samples, simulated samples. But obviously it was eventually then evaluated by the ICMR and the standards that we had to meet to clear it to be then launched in the market. As far as the fears are concerned, see, let's face it, the fact of the matter remains that real-time PCR is the gold standard. So we're not trying that test can be completely replaced over here. What we're trying to say is that symptomatic people who have come in contact with known cases, we can use this as a first line of the test, right? Not for everyone, for this particular group of people. If they come out to be negative, for example, symptomatic patient or symptomatic people, if they come out to be negative on the rapid antigen test, whether it's on the COVID self or any rapid antigen test, the protocol across the country that ICMR has come out, even for any other rapid antigen test, is that will not be considered as a final report. Continue to isolate yourself, get in touch with the RT-PCR lab and get yourself tested. So what happens then is that we take care of a large chunk of people who are symptomatic or who have come in contact with symptomatic people. So this reduces the a major workload on labs who can then concentrate on proper testing of people who really need the test. So it acts as a major filter. Plus, it also gives confidence to the people. So example, if someone has just come in contact, so instead of rushing to a lab, if 7 house members just rush to a lab, give the samples, it puts pressure on the lab, the results get delayed. But if they can do the same thing themselves, it saves costs for them, it saves times, and more importantly, it lets the lab concentrate on other people who might be requiring the test results faster.
Absolutely. That's a very important point that you're making. And let me take that to Dr. Nishal. Dr. Nishal, this acts as a filter and certainly reduces the burden that our testing professionals have.
Yes, if you look at the previous upsurge last year, in fact, rapid antigen test actually played an important role in detecting patients much earlier, isolating them, and providing required treatment. And that actually helped in controlling the last surge. Rapid antigen test played a very important role. And in this upsurge also, of course, rapid antigen test had a role. And in future also, because once this pandemic, I will say it's going to stay with us for some time now. So if this testing is available at home for symptomatic patient, we won't be wasting time. We won't be wasting resources of RT-PCR, because most of the symptomatic cases will be picked up by this test. And that's the beauty of this test. Can be easily done. Report is available very in a quick time, and based on that, one can take a decision how to proceed further. So this will not only save time, this will also save life, this will also save spread of infection. That's why these home kits, again, now it has been launched and it has been approved, and I think it's going to be having a big impact in control of this pandemic.
In control of this pandemic, but the important question is also about the pricing of this kit. Dr. Wankhede, if you could elucidate on that, the pricing aspect of the kit.
See, the price of the kit is about 250 rupees, and that's the end user price. So that's the price at which people can buy the kit from the retail outlets, pharmacy, or online.
Okay, and what about the availability in the market? By when do we expect it?
So we should have it in the market by early or middle of next week. We already have a line of channel partners with whom we have been talking for the last couple of weeks. So that's already sorted out. Obviously, we had to wait for the approval before we got into production. So that should start anytime now. And we should have it in the market within a week, even lesser than a week, in fact.
Lesser than a week. That is going to be a very important step, Dr. Nishal, as far as our strategy to combat COVID is concerned, testing, treating, and tracing. And also the fact that our fight, how we actually come out of it, will also depend on the way we predict it in our villages, in our remote areas. How do we increase our testing in our remote areas? So with this kind of facility in place, the impact on our villages and our remote areas, Dr. Nishal?
Yeah, I can compare this with the mobile telephony. You can say that mobile changed the basically the connectivity of the rural area. The same way, these type of test kit, if made available in this peripheral center, dependency on big labs or infrastructure for RT-PCR will reduce drastically. And what I can also foresee that these kits may have role when we start unlocking again, and when we think of starting schools, things like schools, where one can always carry out these tests. Say before starting any class, if somebody is symptomatic, you can instantly check that kid or the teacher or the staff and send that person in isolation or whatever is required. So this has, I will say, a great, if used properly, this is going to have a great impact in how we fight this pandemic. And of course, this type of test kit was the need of hour. We have it now, and I hope we are going to make best use of this.
We'll make best use of it. But another important aspect, as both of you pointed out, would be the waste disposal. Now, Dr. Wankhede, you've said that there'll be a safety bag and people have to dispose of the test safely. But the kind of biodegradable or the wastage that it will create, and how do we handle it, that is going to be a big question.
Right. That's a very important question. And while we were developing the test from a technical scientific point of view, we were also paying attention to this particular part. So now look at the features that we've added in the kit. The swab, which actually goes inside the nostril, there is a breakage in it. So once you insert the swab, the part which came in touch with human fluid, right, body fluid, breaks and stays inside the lysis buffer bottle. Okay, that's one. Number two, the lysis buffer bottle itself is made up of chemicals which help in destroying the virus. Because as a test, we have to first destroy the cell, the body of the virus or the outer covering of the virus to expose the nucleocapsid antigen. Okay, but the major effect of that is the virus itself becomes inactivated because the lysis buffer solution acts as a deactivating or a denaturing reagent. Followed this because we cap it. So obviously, and the cap and the bottle that we have is a negative pressure bottle, which means that even if you tilt it, unless and until you press it, the buffer does not come out. So mind you, there's a virus which has been deactivated by the lysis buffer, and the buffer does not fall down unless you press hard on it on that particular small bottle. On top of it, you put that bottle inside a plastic pouch with a zip seal, right? And this obviously has a biohazard, biomedical waste, yellow colored logo on it. So we looked at the guidelines given out by the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, and they have very good guidelines for waste collection of household with COVID patients. Right, this is a problem that the CPCB has been facing for the last 1.5 years, because a lot of home-based care is the cornerstone of COVID. Very few people, just 5-7% people who end up having severe symptoms are taken to a hospital. 90 to 95% of the COVID patients actually remain at home. The waste which is generated at these homes has to be collected as per the guidelines given out by CPCB in a separate yellow colored biohazard biomedical waste collection system. So we follow the same protocol as has been happening with households with COVID. This time we are also adding a layer, 2 or 3 layers of safety with the help of this, the contents of the pouch.
Okay. All right. Dr. Nishal, what is your take on this?
So again, Of course, there are safety parameters inbuilt with the kit, and the lysate buffer is going to deactivate the virus. But still, collection of these biohazards from these houses will remain a big challenge. And of course, the local municipal corporation will have to basically look into this and how best they can. Of course, sitting in Delhi, it's relatively easy. But when we talk about rural areas, cities which don't have a proper functioning municipal corporations where collection of these type of waste may not be easy. But again, these are certain points which we have to work on. But the major, I will say, the crux of this whole kit is that if used properly, it can help in controlling this pandemic in a big way. And I'm sure the availability and the way the people use it, of course, it's over the counter test kit. But again, this has to be used properly. Then only one can actually make best of use of this kit. So again, indiscriminate use should not be encouraged. And while using it, one has to be careful not to hurt himself or herself in extra doing it overzealous way, I will say. And of course, whenever you are using this test kit, if somebody is suspected case, then other members should not be watching him how he is doing this, because this can again, if somebody sneezes, he will generate aerosol, and their chances of infecting others will be there. So
Yes.
that particular person should be sitting alone in a room, and others should stay away from him while he is performing this test.
And as you said, that it is very important that people do not hurt themselves while using this home testing kits. But with this approval, there's another important chapter in India's fight against this pandemic. Time for closing comments from both my guests. Dr. Wankhede, first to you.
Right. So basically, if you just look at the ICMR website, just about, I think 20 crore PCR, 22 crore PCR tests have been carried out in the last 1.5 year, which means that, just 20% of the Indian population has been tested so far. Okay. This particular test gives the option of, hundreds and thousands of people who don't not even have access to a good laboratory in the vicinity. And that is going to be a game changer. We all know that unlike the first wave, this time there are large number of cases in the tier 2, tier 3 rural areas. And this is where a test like this makes a huge difference, because everyone can now carry out the test.
Dr. Nishchal?
Yeah, I fully agree with him, and this has potential to we can plan our unlocking based on the use of these kits. Like I said, whether you are going to a mall, whether you are traveling, whether we are planning to open cinema theaters, we are planning to open schools. This handy test can actually help in deciding who can be allowed in that particular area or not. So this has a big potential, and I think we should be looking forward to this particular kit in the market. And this will help in combating this pandemic at the earliest. Because this pandemic is not going to go away so soon. This virus is going to stay with us. And this test kit may help us in identifying all those patients who may be risk to others, so that we can identify them early, isolate them early, and whatever we have been planning about treating, we can do that.
Right. So this is, again, a very important tool in our fight against this pandemic. On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Wankhede and Dr. Nishchal as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of India Fights Back. But before that, let me remind you once again to stay safe from the coronavirus pandemic. Remember to wear a face mask and wash your hands and face regularly. And ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you're stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all it takes to defeat this pandemic. Take care and goodbye.